For more about China's increasingly assertive tone, we're joined by Michael Kalmer. He's the Director of Global Policy Initiatives at the Asia Society here in New York City. Thank you very much for joining us on the programme.
Thank you for having me.
So let's break down Wen Jiabao's most recent statements. First, what do you make of his decision to resist Western pressure to help Western exports?
Well, I think it's part of something that we've seen from the Chinese over the course of time. This issue of currency revaluation is not a new one in the U.S.-China relationship. It's not a new one for China and the rest of the world. And it's something that I think the Chinese have spoken about in the past when they've received pressure, particularly from the United States, as the United States is the most outspoken of all the countries in this regard. So it's not overly surprising, I think, to see that Premier Wen has suggested some degree of resistance to the U.S. In particular.
And what do you make of his statements concerning Taiwan and the Dalai Lama? Are they particularly strident if you look at them sort of with some historical perspective?
Well, I think looking at them with some historical perspective, I would suggest even less of a concern in some ways. Certainly every time that the United States has sold any weapon systems to Taiwan, or the Dalai Lama has had a visit with a sitting president or others within the administration, I think the Chinese have spoken out quite vociferously against U.S. efforts in this regard. So along those lines, I think it's pretty par for the course as far as U.S.-China relations is concerned.
If you think that this is a more strident tone on behalf of the Chinese, what do you think that it will mean for the Obama administration in the months and the years ahead?
If it's something that it suggests a more assertive tone by the Chinese, of course it could have deleterious effects for the relationship. Right now, I think people believe that we're at a bit of a nadir in the relationship between the United States and China. I believe that the U.S. and China relationship goes in a somewhat cyclical pattern. You have very good times, you have okay times, and you have times where things are not so good. Right now is one of those times where things are not so good. Whether or not it's because of issues with the Dalai Lama or Taiwan or currency issues, we're not in a very good space, I think, at the moment.
Right. And how does this affect life in China itself then?
Well, I think, China's decision, let's say, for example, on the currency front, not to revalue its currency, they're looking for, I think, stability within the country. So I think there's a general hesitancy or tendency for the Chinese not to want to go out of policies it's put in place over the course of the last year and a half on the economic front because of the financial crisis, to try and protect its citizenry, to try and grow its economy. And you're seeing a hesitancy for them to try and move out of that and do things that other countries like the United States might want them to do at this stage of the game.
Okay, Michael Kalmer, thank you very much for joining us.
Well, thank you very much.